it's time for us to get into the news review. I'm going to read through the headlines of the newspapers that we have. We'll do a few online stories, and then I'll introduce my guest to you and we'll have a conversation. Now, remember the hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're happy to be outside Ghana, kindly use the country code +233. Now remember, if you have to step out, your masks. Don't forget your mask. Don't make sure that there's a barrier between you and anybody else that you meet out there. All right, but stay at home. That's the most important thing. If you have to step out, make sure you wear your mask. All right, so on the front page of the Daily Graphic, COVID-19 continues to bite. Easter activities on ice. President optimistic about robust health system after COVID-19. Jealous girlfriend sets wood market ablaze. Ghana's judge in Cote d'Ivoire border dispute dies. Sad story there. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, let's all join in COVID-19 fight. Clergy urges public. Ghanaian Times takes a break. Okay, it's going to be off for a few days. COVID-19 cases hit 313. Records one more death. GJA, 3 others petition government over stimulus package. On the front page of the new crusading guide, COVID-19, Ghana hits 313 cases. Diamond Healthcare donates sanitizers to police and army. Announced stimulus package for frontline media practitioners, says Primpag. COVID-19 youth campaign, NYA donates essential items to health ministry. Kaswa market crammed in defiance of social distancing protocol. And on the front page of the ABC News, government to construct 12 polyclinics in 4 regions. Coronavirus, Ghana's low death rate as a result of adherence to directives. This is from Dr. Insia Asare. COVID-19, Obi Amwa donates PPEs 10,000 Ghana Cedi cash to Municipal Health Directorate. COVID-19 pandemic, 50% allowance must affect only frontliners. All right, let's go to citynewsroom.com. So on citynewsroom.com, we have Minority Unhappy report approving 1.2 billion Ghana cedis for COVID-19 fight wasn't presented in Parliament. Media houses can apply for COVID-19 money. This is from Ochem Abuaje. Citi TV to embark on COVID-19 awareness campaign with mobile vans. Parliament's Appointments Committee to vet Okoboy next week. COVID-19, Parliament authorizes government to spend 1.2 billion from contingency fund. And on citybusinessnews.com, we have BOG offers $25 million to Forex dealers in April auction. MasterCard Foundation, MBSSI, to support SMEs with 90 million Ghana cedis to mitigate impact of COVID-19. Drastic measures needed to stabilize cocoa subsector amidst COVID-19 threats. This is from Joe Jackson. Anamwa Citi writes, to spend the Ghana Heritage Fund now or not to? Multiple thoughts. And on my Joy Online, farmers, CSOs warn about the imminent food security challenges after COVID-19 crisis. And on BBC.com, Uganda bans outdoor exercises over coronavirus. Coronavirus cases near 1.5 million worldwide. All right, so for more news, visit citinewsroom.com, and for more business news, visit citibusinessnews.com. All right, and so we're going to go through some few stories this morning, and as you can well imagine, it's very heavy on COVID-19. We are going to be discussing the case count as it rises to 313. We'll also be looking at the coronavirus alleviation program, and Parliament's Finance Committee has authorized government to spend 1.2 billion. And then finally, we'll be looking at the demands from the media groups for stimulus package, as well as the launch, awareness launch that Citi TV is embarking on. All right, one of my guests is seated. Let me introduce him to you. He is Dr. Ayu Efriye. Let me just quickly, okay. So Dr. Ayu Efriye is the MP of Ifijuase Asokore. He's also a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament and the Vice Chair of the Health Committee. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Blessed.
Welcome again.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, so how are things going for you? This is almost we're heading towards the end of the second week of the lockdown. How are you feeling? What are you hearing? You know, how are things going? Successful lockdown period?
The last time I came here, I was a very good morning to your listeners and also to my constituents of Ifijuase and Asokore. Basically, I think the last time I came here, I did say that lockdown or not, when the decision is made, there's consequences to the fight. And so therefore, I think maybe the benefit over here would be encapsulating a tendency of spread in those high-risk regions. And that shows further with the contact tracing, virtually almost negligible percentage of persons tested positive, which is very good, absolutely very good. It doesn't look as bad as anticipated. And I'm sure people's movement are restricted. Economy, their individual economies will be more worse off. Carpenters, artisans, clinics.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everybody's going to bear the other side of lockdown. So it's uncomfortable for everyone, but we need to endure in the spirit of a greater Ghana winning this war against COVID.
Okay. All right. So let me just quickly, let's read the first story to you, and then we'll take it from there. All right. All right. So Ghana records 26 new cases in COVID-19. The total count is now 313. So Ghana's total case count for COVID-19 has increased to 313. This follows the confirmation of 26 new positive cases. The confirmation comes after more contacts of persons who tested positive for COVID-19 were traced and their samples tested. Enhanced Contact tracing and testing is ongoing in Ghana and has resulted in an increased number of confirmed COVID-19 cases, the Ghana Health Service has said on its website. According to the Ghana Health Service updates, the new cases were confirmed in Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Central regions. There's also one more death. An additional death was also recorded, increasing the number of COVID-19 related deaths in the country to 6. As at 7th April 2020, 11:30 p.m., a total of 319 cases of COVID-19 with 6 deaths have been recorded. This is from the website. The regional distribution of the cases are as follows. Greater Accra region has the most cases, as 274, followed by Ashanti region with 25, Northern region with 10, and Upper West, Eastern region, Upper East region, and Central region with 1 each. All right. So we are now at 313. Does that give you a sense of foreboding or a sense of hope? How do you feel?
Sense of hope.
Okay. How come?
I would want to relate to what has happened elsewhere. In the 4th week of reported case, the first cases, obviously, on the 4th week, they actually have moved into several thousands. And therefore, you look at Ghana from probably the 2nd week of March till we are in the 2nd week of April, and then you're reporting about 313. It shows that there's sort of slow rate of penetration of the virus in the system. Or there's sort of reasons why it's not really on the upsurge compared to other countries where after reporting 28, about 2-3 weeks, they were moving up into thousands and 2,000s, and then in the 6th week, they are in several thousands. So it appears there's sort of a community resistance and sort of a personal immunity or herd immunity, and therefore the penetration is slower.
Would you, okay, so that's interesting that you should comment on herd immunity. Is it not too early to assume herd immunity, considering the fact that we've never been exposed to this virus before?
Well, so yes, but there has been some sort of exposure among individuals, and we're talking about community predisposition. There are also obviously other documentations or publications I have read. Some people are saying that on Lancet that countries where BCG is still being administered, there's a map that shows that in those countries the penetration of the virus is low.
BCG, that's the tuberculosis vaccine.
Yes,
okay.
The vaccine. So there are several theories that is underpinning the reasons for resistance and the fact that the infection in those areas are not at speed. So there's sort of immunity in the system, which I'm sure after long research and stuff like that, we'll put some evidence as to why there's this slowness in the infection rate. Yeah, so I think there's some level of immunity in the system, actually, yes. Because if in Europe, they said every one death is equivalent to 1,000 infection. Then it presupposes that 6 deaths in Ghana will be 6,000 infections in the country. And of the 6,000, probably about 70 or 80% would revert, where they'll become negative at the end of the day. But it looks like it's not the case. It's not the case. So there should be a reason in the community, and there should be a reason among the individuals why this penetration is low. And I think Ghana Health Service will do a lot of good to people if the demographics of patients, you don't need to state the names, right? I think Ghanaians are Ghanaians are discerning. So when you say death, sometimes you can bring idea of the age.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes you can bring idea of the comorbidities, things that is predisposing the person. So some sort of analysis can be made by the general population.
Yeah.
That's throwing in death To me, absolutely doesn't make a lot of sense to me, actually. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You basically suggested that it's too blunt and generalized to say
Absolutely.
death. It doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help anybody make analysis because people expect that some people are most vulnerable. Is this the vulnerable category who the literature is directing at this the people, that this is actually, to decrease anxiety in the system. So just throwing death without little demographics on the individual, without the name. We don't need to know the name to stigmatize the family and stuff like that, no. But, people would want to analyze. Yeah. So I think they will have to step up their game. Yeah.
As far as that one is concerned.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I want us to get into the financing aspect of it. Here we go. All right, so let's, the finance minister went to Parliament and basically has gotten authorization. So let me just quickly read that to you. Parliament authorizes government to spend 1.2 billion from contingency fund. Okay, the Finance Committee of Parliament has given authorization to the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, to spend from the contingency fund. The meeting followed a statement Mr. Ofori-Atta presented to the House on government's coronavirus alleviation program today. That was yesterday, actually. The finance minister can now implement the program with the expectation that an extra $50 million will accrue to the fund by close of the year. Meanwhile, the minority after the meeting decried the lack of details in the financial estimates presented to the committee and indicated that they will not support the request by the finance minister if a provision was not made to absorb electricity bills of residential consumers in these trying times. The money from the fund will be used for the 1 billion coronavirus alleviation program. The finance minister has already indicated that the cumulative effect of the novel coronavirus pandemic will cost Ghana 9.505 billion. As part of other measures, the government has put in place a 600 million Ghana Citi soft loan scheme with a 2-year repayment plan for micro, small, and medium-scale businesses. This is in collaboration with the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, Business and Trade Associations, and selected commercial and rural banks. Persons who access these loans will have a 1-year grace period before beginning repayment. Mr. Ofori-Atta is also seeking the support of Parliament to amend the relevant laws to lower the cap of the stabilization fund from 300 million to 100 million. This is to enable the government to use the excess funds to bridge the gap created by the economic impact of the pandemic. Among other interventions, the government will be taking care of the water bills for all Ghanaians for April, May, and June 2020. All right. Will this funding finally solve all the financial problems that we have as far as this fight is concerned? Is it enough?
Oh, saying that would be a sort of understatement. Obviously, there's no way that this fund will be enough because you don't even know the duration of the pandemic. And you would have to take measures on the interim, the medium term and the long term. So I think in terms of public policy, we are looking at the interim or the medium term measures. Last week, we worked on the World Bank loan, and that is going to PPEs and the monitoring team, logistics supply for COVID, on all those stakeholders who are helping in the front line, and building temporary shelters and also intensive care units and stuff like that. So that one was taken care of in the budget. That is on one side. This one is also playing its supportive role. This one is looking at the various packages that is available for the vulnerable people, and then also for companies that unfortunately are not going to make any money now. Some of them are laying off people. So government thinks that they must invest in them to give them longer moratorium, low interest rate or ability to nil, and then get them, because you see a lot of the people in the informal sector and many of these small-scale industries address the interests of this group. So it is the feeling of government that if 600 million is just made available, then they can source it on soft loans that would get them to come back to work quickly. Okay. So that is very good on the one side. The other side is where we need water, and therefore what has to be done, and therefore government decides that, okay, let's put 200 million down for them. So the food packages and hot meal is about 40 million. And this is what the finance minister brought to the committee. Okay.
So if we can just go through systematically for us.
Absolutely. So the breakdown of the 1.2 billion. Food packages and hot meals, it's 40 million. Ghana National Buffer Stock Company is 40 million. And they will give the dry food. Currently, the targets are Greater Accra and then also Ashanti region. Okay. So the dry food would go to about 50,000 in the Ashanti region and 100,000 in the Greater Accra region. Okay, now the provision for water and sanitation is about 200 million. So that will obviously absorb the bills and also keep the various agencies in terms of sanitation to be able to continue to disinfect our markets and even our environment, cleanliness and everything. So that goes to that. Now, you talk about relief for health workers. Waivers of personal income tax for all health workers for 3 months is about 241 million. So that one also taken care of. Allowances for 50% of basic salary for all frontline health workers is about 80 million for 4 months. Then Basin, that's Ayalolo Basin for health workers in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Kaswa, to and from work for duration of the lockdown, it's about 2 million. Then we talk about the soft loans for micro, small, and medium-sized businesses, which are about 600 million. So in all, it's about 1.2 billion.
Now, the minority is asking that the relief for health workers, we should look at channeling those monies towards mitigating the stress in terms of the electricity bills.
So why not for rent?
Why not for electricity?
I mean, that is it, absolutely. So we're going on to scale of preferences. A scale of preference in economics, that's just where we're going. Absolutely. So
no these are utilities, right?
Yeah. So
these are
no one money is available to take care of all needs. Is it possible that you have money that takes care of all needs at a go? Is it possible? No. It's not realistic. So obviously government thinks that in the mix of the little, what I'm trying to do now is that the people need water. So therefore make water available. You understand? So depending upon the duration, there are a lot of things that they are considering, especially for the vulnerable. Okay? And so we don't put the cat ahead of the house. So at this point in time, you have to walk slowly. Yes, so I think the minority have been unreal, absolutely doing politics in there. It is much to do like we don't have something to say. So we need to say something so it will make you feel what you have done is inadequate. But then they have not even also credited government, whether what they are doing in terms of food packages, hot meal is good. They've not said anything. They've not said anything about buffer stock, whether 40 million is good. They've not said anything. Whether the waiver for personal income taxes or whatever. Oh, government have done very well, but we expect government to be able to do that. Why is the thank you not coming? Or why is the appreciation not coming? Why is it that you are then looking at the other side? In any case, who says that decision is taken by the opposition? The decision is taken by those the Ghanaian people vested power in, and they are responsible ultimately to account for it.
But yes, fair enough.
Right.
But then you do realize that this is a season, and we don't know, like you said, we don't know how long this season is going to last for.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, it won't be too long. But
Right.
This is a season where everyone is at home, consuming a lot more electricity than they would normally have done. Is it not a reasonable call?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable, and it's also at this point very political. I think, like I said, you talk about water, then we talk about electricity, then we should talk about rent as well. Now, as of what is a priority depends upon the individual. You probably have to do a lot of research to find out which class wants this, which class wants that, which class wants the other. In all, is a social intervention. The concept here, the principle here is the ability for government to recognize the feeling of the people and intervene. That is the concept. So once government has not breached that principle in hardship, you don't know what is up on the table and why they chose water. Of course, when this extends, they always would have the reason to know what should be done to mitigate the social circumstances of individuals, and especially the vulnerable.
Okay.
Yes, so if the same person thinks about water and think about food, and the duration is moving further than he anticipated, what would even stop him from adding rent and adding electricity and adding all that should be taken care of? It is a matter of time and the data they are having and the decisions they are making. But then also I expect the NDC as well to commend the president, the commend government. I mean, it's absolutely clear the whole world is commending the president, and I'm not hearing from the NDC. They're not talking about it. So they're only talking about electricity. It's not fair.
But
it's not fair.
No, but you see, the thing is that somebody, well, fair enough.
The NDC are not being fair.
I understand that. I understand what you mean, because I mean, even for those of us who are apolitical,
right?
You know, we can see when a good thing is being done,
right?
You know, so that I understand that. But then again, some would argue that they are supposed to keep the government on their toes. So
yes, but someone good, we are not in normal times. We are not in normal times. So one good, well done, for once from opposition, it doesn't kill it. It doesn't kill their vote.
Fantastic.
That's the point.
We'll come back and continue the conversation very soon.
Thank
you. All right, so let's take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back from that break. Remember that it's still the news review that we're in, and the hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. The country code is +233 for those of you who are outside Ghana. My guest is Dr. Afriyie, Dr. Ayew Afriyie, and he is the Vice Chair of the Health Committee in Parliament. He's also a medical doctor, and also a member of the Finance Committee in Parliament. And he's helping us to understand what it is that is the breakdown of the costing that is going to constitute what it is that's in the 1.2 billion that has been given to the Ministry of Finance, approved by Parliament. All right, Dr. Ayew, so let's go into a bit more detail into the budget there, the 1.2 billion. Now I'm looking at the busing, the Yellow busing of health workers in Accra. So I can see 2 million has been allotted for that. There, how exactly is that? I don't know if you have that with you.
The Yellow one.
Yes, the Yellow.
Yes, 2 million.
Yes, 2 million. How exactly? How do you get to the figure? How do we get to the figure 2 million for that?
That is like some of the questions we asked the minister yesterday. They have estimated the number of buses in circulation, the average cost of running it, and then the period to which they are supposed to run. So obviously that is the mass that they put into it, and they believe that up to like 4 months they should be able to sufficiently run them to take solely health workers.
Okay.
Yes.
So from what you're saying, then it means we're looking at probably another 4 months.
Yeah,
of
3
the
months.
situation.
Yes, 3 months. But some of the estimates they did up to 4 months.
Okay.
Like the basic salary frontline updates up to 4 months. They anticipate 3 months, but they just do it's budgeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's look at the food packages, just to understand a bit more in terms of the costing. Because you're looking at 40 million
yeah,
for
40 million
food packages and hot meals.
the hot meal.
But how
Okay.
much is a package of, how much is one package estimated to cost for us to be looking at 40 million?
Okay, I would say that according to the Constitution, after bringing this, the mandate of us on the Finance Committee is to see if some agency has arisen and the need to authorize for that. And it is the Constitution that made this provision. It is not me. They are supposed to let us know what they want to take from it. And then they are supposed to bring the supplementary estimates as soon as possible. Would you allow me to read the Constitution?
Yes, go ahead.
If you go to Article 177(1), and then 2, another one says that there shall be paid into the contingency fund monies voted for the purpose by Parliament, and advances may be made from that fund, which are authorized by the committee responsible for financial measures in Parliament. Whenever that committee is satisfied that there has arisen an urgent or unforeseen need for expenditure, for which no other provision exists to meet the need. Then 2, where an advance is made from the contingency fund, a supplementary estimate shall be presented as soon as possible to Parliament for the purposes of replacing the amount so advanced. So I'm talking about the job we did as members of the Finance Committee. We are supposed to assess, according to the Constitution, has there been an unforeseen need arising that was not budgeted for? Is it urgent? So this was a test questions.
Okay.
So we found out and we realized that there's urgency. It was not budgeted for. And therefore we have to authorize. The word here is authorize. Now, the Constitution, in his thinking, then says that where an advance is made from the contingency fund, a supplementary estimate shall be presented as soon as possible. So we're waiting for the estimate. That will bring much of the details and how they are going to replace it into the fund. So these are things that I'm sure you are into it. But unfortunately, the Constitution did not precede that.
Okay.
It wasn't a condition sort of precedent. It was subsequent. So obviously, I'm not able to, yes, anything I say will violate the tenets of this Constitution. I'm a good Ghanaian. I'm avoiding Ghanaians. So I have to,
you don't want trouble.
I don't want any trouble.
Okay. No, I'm actually asking that because
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself that, look, if you're working with community-based vendors, right, food providers and vendors, the price tag seems a little bit high. But again, like you said, we don't know the details of what's going to go into it.
They'll bring it.
The issue of duration is also a factor and all of that. So I think we'll leave
They'll
that.
bring it. The other reassurance that we get from this is that it's not political. I'm happy you are apolitical, but apolitical.
Well, do you have a problem with that?
I don't have, but you vote.
I do vote.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
What's your point?
It is apolitical. But can you be apolitical? People in their houses think about wives want money, chop money.
I'm mandated to vote.
Okay,
so
but
I have
then,
to make a choice.
Okay, so there's a difference between apolitical and they're not being partisan.
Yes.
Okay, so you are not partisan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, cool. Yes, that's
I feel as if you're taking me back to our school.
It's my brother. You're my brother. You're my brother. So,
okay, go on.
There's this reassurance here. The distribution of food, the president is believing that the local government ministry, gender ministry, and the faith-based organizations, so Muslim, Christians alike organizations are those who are going to help in sharing the food. So there's one bit that is so reassuring that this is absolutely not political. Absolutely.
And it shouldn't be as well.
Yes,
it shouldn't be. Yeah.
because their congregants and co don't come and give tithes or collection
based on being
or they seek their feet on partisan reasons. And I think that decision by the president should be revered. It's good. So that these people, when they do their work, it is good for every political party people should know that this is a Ghanaian approach. Whether it's MPP, whether it's NDC, at this point, it's a Ghanaian approach. So those who are mandated to do it must be allowed to do it. Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. The next story that we want to just check out, the next part of it that we want to look at is the media groups making demands for stimulus package. I'll quickly read that for you. Announce stimulus, this is from citinewsroom.com. Announce stimulus package for frontline practitioners, media practitioners. This is Prempag to the government. The story here says the Private Newspaper Publishers Association of Ghana has called on the government to consider media practitioners as frontline workers so they can enjoy the stimulus package announced by the president. Their call follows the president's announcement of some incentives for frontline health workers in his last national address on COVID-19 updates. The president said the government is committed to ensuring that health workers are supported as they deliver essential services to the populace, especially amid the outbreak of the coronavirus. On my part, and on the part of government, we will continue to see what we can do to meet you halfway. Ease the issues that you have. I think you heard my broadcast the other day. I indicated the measures that we want to put to place to support you in the work that you're doing, Akufo-Addo noted. Speaking at a joint press briefing with the Ghana Journalists Association and the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, the president of Prempag, Edwin Arthur, urged the government to set up a fund to cater for frontline media practitioners as well during this period. All media practitioners who have been lending support to the national effort also as frontliners in the fight against the spread of the virus. And in this sense, we expect to be elevated to that status for the purpose in the ensuing argument. Apart from our frontline role in educating the general populace on the dangers associated with COVID-19 and the need to observe critically all the safety measures and protocols, most of us have come into direct contact with carriers and coronavirus patients. Interviewing them as well as doctors who have been treating these patients in all our attempts to bring to our various stakeholders credible and reliable information on the pandemic. This we see as a critical duty in line with the constitutional mandate as the fourth estate of the realm. Now, so is this a call in the right direction, or is this just feeling as if they're being left out of, an opportunity that, you could rake in something?
And this is where you throw me into the lion's den. You see yourself, you're a member of your institution here is a private one. Mm-hmm. So your staff, all of you here, mm-hmm. if you give me a media blackout, I'm affected. If I even go down there and you decide that today I'm ambushed, I can't step out of here because you are directly listening to me and all of you are beneficiaries. So it's like I actually see how Daniel suffered in the lion's den. So I will tread cautiously, but either ways, I will be adventurous.
Go ahead.
Kweku. Mm-hmm. So I think that they are justified in one aspect of it, saying that they are frontline workers and they are in a hurry to bring news to decrease anxiety and also to explain issues for Ghanaians to understand what is ongoing. At this point, everybody is glued to the set, either on social media or either on the websites or any source of news that would decrease anxiety, and that is itself to mean that they are helping calming down tensions. And so they might say they are frontline workers. In order for us to make meaning with what we have at this point in time, I am sure the president has a certain reason why he celebrated health workers. Like, it's been done everywhere across the globe. In the UK, around 7 o'clock, everybody gets out of their house and they clap in for health workers. In the US, a lot of interventions are going for health workers. I think currently, the current focus now probably among frontline workers is more on the health side. I'm sure CJA, the press are at the front, same as immigration is also at the forefront because they are the borders and they are preventing all these people. Ghana Airport Company, they were at the borders, they screen all of them. Port health people, they were at the borders. So there are a lot of people who are playing their sort of statutory or the constitutional roles to be able to support the effective handling of this crisis. And therefore, we would not have to, I don't want to discount anybody's role. We will have to celebrate them. But I should think that probably at this point in time, it was not considered more to say with the means available. The immediate focus has been those who are treating and those who are contact tracing and those who are testing. I'm sure if in the course of time there is some more resources and there's some more reason to add those groups, I'm sure they will do it. But we should do this as a call to service, as a call to a national call to duty. And I am happy to hear from Citi that they are going to have, Citi is going to have a van that will go around, and I have to be able to celebrate Citi anywhere I go. And I think that various private entities should do the same. If you go and watch Sky News create adverts of washing hands, and Sky News celebrate health workers. I think everybody is important, but they want to say that, okay, those who are immediately at risk are those who are treating them. So in as much as all of us are frontline, there are some people who immediately are dealing with these people. If they are scared and they don't go to work for infections among them, then we are finished. So we are all frontline workers providing supportive services to the immediate frontline ones. So I think PRIMPAC should see this one as a call to duty, selflessness, and whatever they have to do to support government, because there's a time that government need them most. And
okay, but yeah. Dr. Yu, here's the thing. So provision of PPEs and transportation, that's not too much to ask, though. So they are talking about
as
part of what they are requesting.
They are specific.
Yes.
PPEs
as well as transportation with their Yololo buses. After all, we have 200 and something buses sitting there, and 15 have been deployed.
Okay, but then also,
workers.
but then also they can have a sort of meeting with the IMC or the operation group on this emergency cooperation, where they can also find out ways to mitigate exposures. You understand? If, for instance, you are supposed to rush to go to Rich Hospital to go and have a meeting with any of the doctors treating them or even the patient, I think there can be a protocol where you should wait for Ghana Health Service people to take it from the doctors, and then they should meet you in a more safer area. I think we don't push much. People can do some part of the jobs. So let us be able to position everybody according to where you have to be more adventurous on the news. You want to be the Christian Amampo, you want to go on the field, you want to be seen as, yes, you are taking. But look, at this point in time, we don't have the measures to be able to support you. So what do? Let the health workers who can get the first information from patients, let them take it. And then let them meet you at a place that is safe and let them give it to you. And I'm sure when they are giving it to you, you put your face masks on and stuff like that. It will be okay. So basically, other than going to have this information from the treatment centers, which would expose you. Why would you want to do that? So there must not be too much of a push. But I think that if they are going to work and they have to be in Ayalolo, those ones, obviously, like you said, it's not much. But we should not push so much. If you push so much, you are exposing yourself. That's the truth.
So you don't want to give us free transportation?
Oh, that's what I'm saying, free transportation there. I'm sure they can say journalists going to the information centers on particular press briefing days should be allowed because they will struggle. If their media houses don't pick them and cars are not available, how will they get the information? So this one, I'm not too sure it's difficult at all. At all.
Yeah.
But when it will move to the area of taxes and all sorts of
could it be that it's an oversight in terms of considerations? It may have been an oversight, and that's why it wasn't necessarily considered as frontline, because clearly media are the ones that are keeping people able to stay at home.
Yeah. If you're not, it could be. And so asking for, being in an Ayalolo bus, to me, I don't think that they would deny them.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's deal with the issue.
If that is what it means, then obviously it's not much that they're asking for.
Let's deal with the issue of awareness, publicity and awareness. I'm having the feeling as the lockdown progresses that people are becoming tired and possibly do not appreciate the level of danger that they're exposing themselves to by coming into town, because I'm seeing increasing numbers from Monday till today. Every day there are more vehicles on the road. Now today I actually deliberately left home a little earlier than I normally do, to see what was like. And look, there was more traffic earlier today than even yesterday. At my later time, which I find very disturbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Citi TV, we have embarked on this awareness campaign with our mobile vans. I just want to quickly read that for the benefit of the viewers. Ghanaian television channel Citi TV will, from Thursday, 9th April 2020, start a sensitization campaign on the coronavirus pandemic in specific markets and communities in Accra to keep citizens more informed, to protect themselves and the masses from the disease. The station has thus dedicated 2 of its pickup vehicles solely branded for the exercise. The managing director of Citi FM Citi TV, Samuel Atamensa, says, as a media house whose topmost objective is to inform and educate, the need to carry out that mandate directly to the communities when there's a need to carry out that mandate directly to the communities when the need arises. He says the pandemic, which poses a threat to everyone, cannot be left to government alone. Hence, the decision by Citi TV to support the public education campaign. The Citi TV COVID-19 sensitization campaign is thus expected to complement the efforts of the Information Ministry, the Information Services Department, and the National Commission for Civic Education. Now, let me just quickly pick your thoughts on this. Are we doing enough? Of course, Citi is adding its effort to the entire effort now, but what do you think of Citi's effort, first of all? And then generally speaking, are we doing enough to get people to understand how serious this thing actually is?
Citi is ahead. It's a pace setter, obviously. Like I said, we'll have to celebrate you. It will be the first media house for me to hear that you want to do this. And I'm happy to say that I've associated myself with a lot of your crew and your team, and you guys are wonderful people. And Samens too, or your guy, and obviously I'm not surprised that he's always ahead, and you guys are always ahead, absolutely. And that is exactly what I was always expecting a lot of media houses to do, seriously. Look at CNN, look at all of them. Everybody is trying to throw on a social responsibility in a system where there's a time that they all feel that, yes, they have to make profit, but there's a time that we get to also give back to society and show them the role that we actually have to play in terms of crisis, in terms of disaster. So you stood up and you'll be counted. Now, obviously to say that people are in the streets, if the police are listening, if the military command, if people are listening, it's your responsibility that's under attack. It's you that is going to be judged. If indeed people are not being restricted and they are moving, and that is not what we expect, then it's actually an attack on the reasons why you are in the streets. So I wouldn't want to talk about it. I would want to leave it to them. Because if that is how the trend is going to be, then they should be ready for all attacks that will come on them. Because they are all Ghanaians, their families are at risk, they are also at risk, and you are out for an operation. And therefore, if indeed this is the trend, then they have to listen. What it means is that if this continues, then we cannot judge them as people who have succeeded in making the restriction work. And these are the only people you can trust to implement the law. So at this point in time, I would want this one to be a caution or a word of caution. They should listen. You have observed it. And just as you are saying, I'm telling you, other people might be talking about this today. There are more cars on the street, more people on the street. Gradually, people are beginning to act as if there is no restriction. So we want to give the opportunity for the law enforcement agencies to listen and to act accordingly. They should do the needful. So I wouldn't want to go into, because first of all, you have used your experience to caution them.
Yeah.
It will be good for us to see from tomorrow that the cars are reducing on the streets and people's movement are restricted on the streets, except for essentials. And the reason to go for essentials.
Could we have a total lockdown?
Could we have a total lockdown? Looking at the numbers that are actually coming, about 11,000, about 30 cases which are positive. To me, by the end of all those contact traced, they're still going to be 34 or 37 out of 11,000.
Yeah, 37.
The percentage will be what? Maybe under
small.
1 or 2%.
It's less than a percent.
Yes, 1 in 100. And if this is what will be the trend, we cannot go for a total shutdown. Probably there can be an extension, depending upon the new positives, the contact tracing. So if between now to Sunday, the other new positives, we need to go and contact trace, all those people that they have been exposed to, and for that matter, there will be a need for extension. It's fair. But to be able to say that there will be a total shutdown,
that's not.
It is too much.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. We've been speaking with I've been speaking with Dr. Ayew Afriyie, who is the MP for Ifigrassia Sokore, and he's also a member of the Finance Committee in Parliament and the Vice Chair of the Health Committee of Parliament, and medical doctor as well. Well, thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. We're going to come back. We've got a lot of different things that we're going to be talking about, wearing face masks and the different types of face masks. We're going to have so many interesting conversations coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.